Welcome back to another Alliance War. This time around, 4Loki is taking on BRG-3, an alliance that we've already bested once this season, but these guys are hanging on, trying to stay in the master bracket, so they are out for blood. Let's see who comes out on top in the rematch. I have a little bit of a unique team with me with Medusa, Nebula, and Proxima. Proxima in there for the synergy that she has with Nebula to give myself 10 shock charges. That's for an Ironman Infinity War fight on Biohazard node coming up after this. But first we have a little bit of a diversity node against Black Widow. And the only thing that I'm really hoping for in this fight is that I don't get 3%ed. Do not want to get that evade. Do not want to, eat a bunch of damage just kind of out of nowhere. I do have auto block available to me, but then again, Black Widow kind of shuts that down, so I don't really have that to fall back on so much. I do also have willpower, of course, so I have that power lock debuff is healing me up for any kind of chip damage I take. And the plan was, if I do get 3% evaded, then I would just kind of sit back and try to heal up as much as possible with willpower. But she never actually evaded, so it's all good. Alright. Iron Man Infinity War, Nebula. Let's see how this goes. So my thought process with bringing in Nebula for this node is, first off, it's Biohazard, so I want a champion that has double immunities, right? But then I'm also thinking, you know what, Nebula would actually be pretty good here, because if you can time your shocks right, you can kind of bypass that entire last phase that Iron Man has. So I'm thinking this would actually be a pretty good matchup for me. Wasn't stressing it too much. I practiced a little bit going into this. But man, this is one heck of a fight here. The other thing about this, as you're going to see after this fight is over, is that these are the last two nodes in the entire war. The entire war is already done. It's extremely close at this point, and I have the final last two nodes. Alright. Here we go, Iron Man Infinity War. So I'm going to start with 10 shock charges thanks to the Proxima synergy. Something to note about this is that you can't actually unleash those shock charges when Iron Man is dashing in at you. It has to be off of one of his light attacks due to the nature of his medium attack being a ranged attack. It does not work. It has to be off of one of his light melee attacks. So because I have so many shock charges too, I kind of want to unleash these shock charges now and then start building them up again as I get them closer to that 15% threshold, and then hopefully double up that damage and just kind of finish them off. Double up that damage with my L2 and finish him off. So I actually going to just go ahead and fire my L2 here, just because I don't really want to necessarily get to an L3. It's going to just eat time, I feel. So I just kind of wanted to dump my power there, even though it wasn't going to do a whole lot of damage. I'm going to try to unleash my shock charges as soon as I possibly can at this point. It's just not always the easiest to get an opening against this guy. Just because, again, you do have to time it off of his light attacks. So there we go. I get the shock charges, and I'm thinking, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to launch an L1. It's going to power lock him and drain everything for 18 seconds. I have an 18-second power lock because it's 1 second for every shock charge you had on the enemy at the time of using your L1. So I'm thinking, cool, man. I've got all the time in the world now to kind of play around, not have to worry about dodging his specials. I'm going to try to start building up some shock charges now. And at this point, if I get enough shock charges and I time it with my L2, he's going to go down. Now, something I forgot to mention too is your heavy attacks with Nebula, they also apply a little bit of a shock, but this guy has willpower, so it kind of cancels out. So a little bit of a bummer there. It might have helped if I stacked up a bunch of heavy attacks and got a whole bunch of shocks going. Honestly, I remember practicing it before this fight, but I can't remember the interaction if they stack up or if it just refreshes it. Really can't remember. That's something else that I'm gonna have to test out in the future. Now it's kind of getting down to the wire. I'm worried about the clock at this point. That's the #1 concern when you're fighting this Iron Man. It's just, okay, am I going to have enough time? And in the past, it's taken me well over a minute, close to a minute and a half, 2 minutes to take down the last 15%. So let's see how it's going to go here. I hit him with the L3. The L3 does apply shock, and I have a buff on myself that anytime this guy touches me or I touch him, it also applies a shock. I'm getting parried. I'm starting to get real nervous here, man. I'm getting very sloppy at this point, taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and he still has 17% health left. I don't even know what I was trying to go for there. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm about to time out. I feel like I'm about to lose the entire war. The shocks transfer at the last second, though, and he's about to go down. I'm just staying away because I don't want to accidentally die. And luckily, it all works out. He goes down. Full attack bonus achieved. I cannot believe I got through that fight without dying after all of those mistakes. Oh man, I can't even tell you how I was feeling after that fight. I was nervous, shaking. Like, you're gonna see that I'm actually gonna show the score in this video, just because it was that close of a war. Normally, I don't like to show the kill count in these wars, but yeah, I'm gonna show it in this one just to give you guys an idea of how close this war actually was. This last node, this Iron Man goes down in 10 seconds. Man, it was a joke of a fight. It's funny how different the two Iron Men actually are. As you can see, those were the final two defenders in war. I'm going to go ahead and just free my champions right now. And last time we played these guys, I think our alliance died 8 times in total. And we actually died a little bit more this time around. I don't know if they just had better defenders, better placement, or if we were playing a little bit sloppier. But we died a little bit more, as you're going to see in just a moment. And these guys were also playing a bit better than they did last time against us as well. But you can see here it's 11 to 13 in terms of defender kills. They were up 2 defender kills on us, but they still had 8 champions to go through on defense, including a boss. So it was an extremely close war, and I wanted to keep the pressure on them by not dying. It was their war to lose at that point since they were up, but if I died right there, then that would have just given them a much bigger window of opportunity. But they didn't need it anyway. They did end up taking the victory here, so good war to you guys in BRG-3, and that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.